Imagine being the only person on a server with legendary golden armor and then immediately slipping like a total clown.
This guy thinks he is the main character of the universe, but his limited edition phone just met the floor and shattered into a million pieces.
Talk about a massive L for someone who claims to be FING awesome.
Just when he is done crying over his screen, a message pops up from a guy named Heart Heater demanding his money back.
Turns out our greatest warrior is actually broke and drowning in debt.
To save his bank account, he has to dive back into Lucid Adventure, a game where you play in your literal dreams, just to make some quick cash.
He logs in as the strongest, but the local players absolutely despise him.
Apparently, being rank number 1 also makes you the number 1 jerk who steals quests and blocks roads just to be a menace.
He is strutting around in that shiny armor while everyone behind his back is praying for his downfall.
A tiny newbie approaches him trembling and asking for a measly 10 gold, but our hero spots a bag of 1,000 gold in the kid's hand and chooses violence.
He hits the poor noob with a critical strike that deletes him instantly, declaring that he hates beggars.
He is officially a red-named player killer now, and the entire crowd is losing their minds. The guard NPCs rush in to arrest him, but justice is a joke when you are rich. He just slips them a bribe and walks away like nothing happened, leaving everyone seething.
He heads straight to Heart Heater's office, where the loan shark reminds him that his precious armor is basically borrowed property.
Heart Heater is a total psycho who keeps the fingers of debtors on his wall as trophies.
He offers an SS-level quest to kill a python at Cobalt Castle that pays 40 million gold, which is $20,000 in real money.
Our arrogant MC is so desperate he signs the contract without even reading the fine print. Big mistake, buddy.
He finds the python and starts roasting it for being a little snake. The beast tries to flex its deadly venom, but the hardcore leveling warrior just laughs and crushes the thing into a paste.
He is actually annoyed that the fight was too easy, but then he sees the real tragedy. He got monster blood on his expensive armor.
While he is frantically scrubbing his gear like a stay-at-home mom, the system stays silent. Suddenly, a massive explosion of combined magic skills from 20 hidden players turns the whole area into a crater.
These guys have been camping him, waiting for him to be tired so they can finally end his reign of terror.
The smoke clears and our man is standing there looking absolutely triggered.
He is not even hurt. He is just mad they scratched his paint job. He flexes his status as the only all-stat user on the server and prepares to turn these noobs into a memory.
When the number 1 rank gets angry, everyone else starts praying.
He starts moving so fast that every single attack against him is a miss. It is a literal slaughterhouse as he unleashes mono-blade rage, cutting through armor and weapons like they are made of wet paper. He is treating an entire army of players like a warm-up exercise, and the visuals of the carnage are absolutely insane. With one final moonlight slash, the entire battlefield is cleared of living souls. He stands over a mountain of bodies, finally catching his breath, but something feels off.
The python's blood is glowing and drawing a summoning circle on the ground.
He thought the quest was over, but the real nightmare is just waking up. Out of the blood rises a massive, disgusting zombie dragon, the true boss of the quest.
Suddenly, a mysterious girl who looks exactly like the newbie he killed earlier appears out of nowhere.
She warns him to run, but then stabs him right through his hand with a basic dagger.
Wait, how did a level 3 noob actually land a hit on him? This girl is a total savage, telling him that his luck has finally run out.
She bypasses all his evasion stats and starts dog-walking the rank 1 player, slamming his face into the dirt.
She calls him out for relying on gear and probability before she starts forcibly stripping his legendary items off his body one by one.
The system notifications are a horror show. His golden plate suit, the Sword of Honor, and every other god-tier item are being disarmed.
He is literally being left naked and defenseless while he screams that he is the hardcore leveling warrior.
She does not care about his title. She is here to take everything he ever worked for. She walks away with his loot, leaving him at the feet of the massive zombie dragon. She drops the ultimate truth bomb. When he dies here, his stats will reset to level 1.
The fear in his eyes is priceless as the dragon's jaws close around his head. The number 1 player just got sent back to the tutorial in the most embarrassing way possible. We are talking about the legendary Yopi grilled skewers, a mix of dragon meat and underground shrimp that is basically food porn for adventurers.
Our girl is literally drooling as she reaches the front of the line. thinking her year-long wait is finally over. Just as she is about to order, this absolute unit of a brute decide rules do not apply to him. This arrogant meathead shoves her aside, tosses some coins like she is a peasant, and tells her to use the change for medical fees.
He really chose violence over a snack.
The brute thinks he is the main character until the girl asks if he has a death wish.
Before he can even process the insult, she unleashes a strike so fast it leaves him questioning his life choices.
This is what happens when you get between a hungry woman and her dragon meat. The big guy goes flying through a brick wall like a ragdoll while our queen calmly catches the falling skewer. She takes a bite and starts crying tears of pure joy because the flavor is worth every second of that year-long grind.
Talk about a glow-up. Suddenly, a commotion breaks out nearby, and the girl spots a red-haired loser getting absolutely cooked by a crowd. This guy used to be the #1 player, the top of the food chain, but now he is getting lifted by his throat like a common mob. The fall from grace is pathetic.
Yesterday, he was the strongest entity in the game with maxed out stats, but now the system shows he is a total level 1 scrub.
He is so weak that a literal pink bunny looks like a final boss to him.
The bullies realize they have the former tyrant at their mercy and decide to get creative with their toxicity.
They bring in a healer, not to save him, but to keep him in an infinite loop of pain. They heal him just enough so he does not log out, allowing them to beat him forever. It is a total beatdown session as everyone he ever stepped on comes to collect their pound of flesh. After they are satisfied, they leave him with a chilling warning to stay off the grid, or they will hunt him until he deletes his account for good. Just when things could not get worse, a shadow falls over our fallen legend. It is Heart Heater, the local moneylender who looks like he just stepped out of a corporate horror movie.
He is not here for a hug, he is here because his investment just turned into trash.
Heart Heater reminds him that in-game gold is basically real-world cash, and he does not play about his money.
He grabs the loser by the collar, ready to extract payment through physical suffering since the guy's bank account is as empty as his stat sheet.
Right before the moneylender can finish him off, a flash of steel cuts through the air. It is our skewer-loving warrior, stepping in to block the attack like a total boss.
She looks the debt collector in the eyes and declares that this pathetic level 1 loser is actually precious to her.
1 year ago, the world was literally burning during the very first war because some guild named Nightmare decided to be absolute menaces.
Enter our boy, the hardcore leveling warrior, back when he was actually a top-tier ranker and not just a professional floor licker.
Amidst a mountain of corpses, he saves this level 30 girl named Sarah, but instead of being a hero, he basically calls her a pathetic loser. He tells her she is only in danger because she is weak, which is the ultimate red flag motivation that actually works on her.
Fast forward to now, and Sora is a total beast, acting as a human shield for our fallen legend while the crowd loses their minds. Everyone is wondering how a selfish jerk like HCLW managed to bag a teammate this loyal and cracked, but the vibes are about to get much worse.
Out of nowhere, this massive unit of a general demands his weapon from some girl named Jo Tsung, ignoring all warnings about the Emperor getting triggered.
He looks at our red-haired fraud and calls him a toothless tiger, which honestly is a pretty accurate roast for someone with 0 stats. This psycho grins like a demon and swings a massive guandao, screaming about repaying a debt with HCLW's head.
Sarah has to move like a lightning bolt just to keep them from being turned into chopped liver, and the sheer scale of the explosion is just ridiculous.
Turns out this monster is the legendary Guan Yu, and he has somehow hacked the system to ignore penalties like a total cheater.
He is annoyed that these insects are still breathing, so he decides to stop playing around and unleash 100% of his power to end the show.
Heart Heater asks for the grand strategy, and HCLW shows off his most advanced skill, turning around and running for his life.
Since he has no armor and the stats of a wet noodle, he basically hops into the mouth of a weird blue dragon and nopes out of there immediately. They are hauling tail toward Dragon Mountain on a creature that is moving way too fast for our hero's fragile lungs. HCLW is literally suffocating while Sora tries to apologize for being heavy, completely unaware that her idol is having a mental breakdown in the background.
Once they land, Sora starts yapping about their eternal promise of friendship, and HCLW has to play along like the ultimate actor.
He does not remember this girl at all, but he knows if he admits he forgot her, she will probably finish what Guan Yu started and bury him.
They meet the big boss of this hidden base, a mysterious kid who talks down to Heartheater like he is a lowly intern.
He confirms that HCLW was the first person to ever hit max level, and then drops the craziest request. He wants the former #1 player to help him level up.
Imagine being a fallen legend and still having the audacity to demand $1 million from a literal child. Our red-haired protagonist is clearly delusional or just extremely broke, but hey, you have to respect the hustle.
He thinks his services are worth a fortune, but the little boss man sitting in that chair is not impressed by his flex at all. Heartheater is officially done with the games and reminds this man that he is basically swimming in debt.
He drops a terrifying reality check, telling him that while dying in the game is a headache, losing his fingers in the real world for being a liar is a lot more permanent. The warrior tries to laugh it off with a cocky grin, but the tension is thick enough to cut with a blade.
Just when things are getting spicy, a massive forced logout warning flashes and our guy gets yanked back to the real world.
He wakes up not in a cozy bed, but being hauled around by a bunch of meathead thugs like a sack of potatoes. He starts screaming for them to let him go, but these guys are not exactly the polite type.
Turns out, our hero is basically a high-end slave for some guy named President Kim who owns everything he eats and wears.
He is locked in a concrete hellhole until he can get his in-game level back because the president has a massive bet on him.
He spots boxes of narcotics nearby and the trauma starts flooding back, reminding him exactly how he ended up in this nightmare 3 years ago.
Flashback time, and it is a total vibe check. A younger Ethan is currently hanging off the 4th floor of a building by his ankle, looking like he is about to become a sidewalk pancake. The mob boss holding him, Gino Lee, is giving a lecture on being a man of his word while dangling him over the edge just for the aesthetic of it. Gino is a total psycho, laughing about how the 5th floor would have killed him, but the 4th floor will just leave him crippled enough to sell gum on the streets.
Ethan is absolutely losing his mind, begging for his life while this suited demon treats his survival like a casual business negotiation.
Talk about a toxic workplace environment. Ethan manages to get his feet back on solid ground, but he is immediately slapped with a contract for $40,000 plus interest. Gino reveals his big plan to exploit a new game called Lucid Adventure, predicting it is going to be a gold mine. He is basically setting up a virtual sweatshop, and Ethan just signed away his soul to be the lead farmer. The reality of the workspace is a total horror show.
Ethan realizes Gino does not care if his body rots as long as he is printing money in the game.
He is trapped in a room full of other debtors who are crying and begging to go home, but Ethan decides to lock in and embrace the madness.
He is a son of a bitch, but he is a son of a bitch with a plan. Amidst the sounds of sobbing losers in the background, Ethan asks for everyone's nicknames before putting on the headset to escape his miserable life.
The system rings out with a notification that would eventually shake the entire world. The hardcore leveling warrior has officially logged in.
This is the origin story of a legend born from pure, unadulterated desperation. Back in the present, the warrior confronts the mysterious Dark, suspicious of how this kid knows about his real-world drama with President Kim. Dark plays it cool and denies everything. So the warrior decided if the stakes are this high, the price is going up too. He demands $3 million now, and honestly, for a guy living in a literal prison, he is a master of the upsell. The deal is sealed, and the squad rolls up to Yopi Land to get ready for a dungeon raid.
The warrior is out here trying to act like the big boss, ordering Sarah to buy potions while he checks the vault, but Dark is not buying the hype. Even with Heartheater's recommendation, the kid thinks the warrior might just be a washed-up fraud with a big mouth.
Dark is a very cautious person and demands some actual proof that this red-haired egomaniac can still fight.
Sarah tries to defend her idol, but the warrior just gives a sinister look from under his hood.
He is ready to prove he is still the GOAT, even if his stats have been reset to 0.
The challenge is set. Dark points to a formidable fighter with green hair standing at a food stall and tells the warrior to take him down.
With a massive, cocky grin, the hardcore leveling warrior steps up, ready to show everyone that being level 1 does not mean you forgot how to be a menace. Watch and learn, because the king is about to throw hands.
Imagine trying to enjoy a delicious sandwich only for some green-haired loser to slap it out of your hand.
This scallion-head-looking guildmaster is still salty about getting humiliated by our protagonist in the past, and he is out for blood.
He grabs the hardcore leveling warrior by the throat. acting all tough because he knows the former ranker is now level 1.
But our boy is not intimidated by this mid-tier bully, calling him a total coward and daring him to settle this in a real fight.
Instead of a messy street brawl, the warrior proposes a legal PK, a sanctioned duel where they can bet whatever they want.
Scallion Head is so desperate to look cool in front of the crowd that he jumps at the chance to legally crush his enemy. Suddenly, the sky splits open and Daikon, a high-level combat NPC with serious main character energy, drops into act as the judge. The rules are simple. Win the fight, take the prize, and nobody gets flagged as a criminal. Scallion Head goes full psycho and demands the ultimate prize. He wants the hardcore leveling warrior to delete his character and quit the game forever. He is trying to erase the legend from existence because he is still traumatized by their past.
The warrior just smirks and drops a bombshell, demanding all of Scallion Head's stats if he wins.
The guildmaster thinks he is bluffing, but the judge confirms that the warrior's unique class actually allows this absolute robbery.
The fight starts, and it is a total massacre.
Scallion Head is pummeling our level 1 hero with a dagger, counting every single hit like an obsessed lunatic.
He is ranting about his guild members quitting because of the warrior's dirty playstyle. This guy is the definition of a red flag, using healing magic on the warrior just so he does not die too fast. He wants to drag out the suffering and turn the former legend into a permanent sandbag for at least 100 hits. While the warrior is getting turned into a pulp, the spectators are treating this like a circus.
Everyone is betting their gold on Scallion Head because they think the fallen ranker is just trash now. Dark watches the chaos, curious about the betting system.
The betting windows show a massive landslide in favor of Scallion Head. Our protagonist is barely standing, panting for air as the hit count reaches 98. The guild master is laughing, convinced he has already won the lottery. Scallion Head swings for what should be an easy hit, but the warrior pulls off a miracle dodge at the last second. The crowd is stunned, but the guild master just scoffs, calling it dumb luck before prepping his final, killing blow. Just as Scallion Head charges in to finish the job, Dark decides to break the entire economy. He steps up to the interface and drops a staggering 100 million gold on the hardcore leveling warrior, making everyone's jaw drop. Scallion Head screams for the warrior to disappear forever as he launches his 100th strike. But the moment his weapon is about to connect, something goes horribly wrong for the bully. A massive paralysis effect triggers, locking his body in place. The guild master freezes midair, looking like a total clown. It turns out the warrior was just waiting for his passive ability to activate after enduring 99 hits. The tables have officially turned, and Scallion Head is about to lose everything.
Imagine losing your entire life savings because you thought you could take on a living legend.
Scallion Head finds out the hard way that our hardcore leveling warrior doesn't play nice, catching a face full of boot before his gold balance hits rock bottom. The crowd is absolutely losing it because this fantastic blow just turned the betting pool into a gold mine for the lucky few and a graveyard for the simps.
Victory is sweet, but the system is a total hater.
It dangles 3 mysterious reward boxes in front of our boy, only to remind him that his level is too pathetic to take them all.
He is left sweating over which one to pick, praying for a luck stat to fix his trashed character while crying over the loot he has to leave behind like a true gamer in pain.
Meanwhile, over in Yopi Land, the palace is looking like a crime scene. Commander Tak and his supporter Lime are standing over a pile of assassins who clearly didn't get the memo about the armistice.
Tak is such a meathead that he accidentally kills the only hostage they had for questioning, just as the king decides to finally crawl out of bed.
Enter King Yopi, the most casual ruler you will ever meet, apologizing for being late because he was too busy watching the warriors fight.
His advisor, Pua Poo, looks like she is about to have a literal stroke from the disrespect.
The king is surprisingly sharp though, instantly realizing these assassins were way too professional to be some random imperial thugs. Yopi drops the playful act for a second to reveal he knows exactly what is up. He figures some vicious enemy is trying to nip him in the bud before he becomes a problem. Instead of panicking, he gets obsessed with the hardcore leveling warrior and orders Pua Poo to put a tail on the group, because he knows talent when he sees it.
Back with our main trio, Sarah is flexing a shiny new sword that Dark bought her, proving that having a rich sugar donator is the best way to play an RPG.
Dark isn't just being nice though. He knows he is too squishy and needs a human shield.
Suddenly, a wild quest appears, dragging them toward a black magic dungeon for a class change that sounds like a total death trap.
Dark is still salty about how the warrior won that last fight and threatens to cut off the funding if he doesn't spill the tea. It turns out our warrior isn't just lucky, he is a walking calculator. He knew the enemy's dagger only dealt a critical hit on the 100 strike, so he just counted the hits and timed his move like a total pro.
Just when you thought this was a normal fantasy story, Dark drops a massive bombshell.
He is actually the heir to the Giga Group, the biggest company in existence.
His grandfather is currently in a coma in the real world, but his consciousness is chilling inside the game to hide his will.
It is a full-blown corporate succession war, and the game is the battlefield.
The party finally reaches the Black Magic Dungeon, where they are met by Doyum, an NPC who looks like he has seen too many noobs die.
Our warrior's ego is back at 100%, claiming he can clear this trial in 3 seconds flat. Doyum gives them the good luck, you are gonna need it. Look as they vanish into the dark portal. But wait, the drama never stops. As soon as the doors shut, some shady figures in the shadows start whispering. They have been waiting for the party to enter the dungeon because even the legendary Heart Heater can't interfere once they are inside.
It looks like our heroes just walked straight into a perfectly timed ambush, and things are about to get messy.
You would think elite assassins lurking in a dungeon would be cold-blooded killers, but these guys are literally shaking in their boots because of some moldy zombies.
Talk about a major skill issue.
Our red-faced friend here is having a full-blown panic attack while the party clears the floor. While the assassin is busy being traumatized by the undead, his boss hits him up on the messenger with a no-mistakes order from the One. Basically, he has to kill our heroes or face the consequences. No pressure, right? Just don't trip over a tombstone on your way out. Meanwhile, our main squad is climbing endless stairs and complaining like they're on a forced hike.
Dark thinks killing 100 zombies for a quest is absurd, but our warrior explains that combat classes are the rare 30%.
Sarah drops the ultimate flex, mentioning she spent 2 months hunting 1,000 wolves for her class change.
Now that's what I call a dedicated grinder. They finally reach the second floor and meet Bagorba, a grotesque witch sitting on a massive, muscle-bound summon.
She's totally bored because her previous victims were too weak and died too fast. She's ready to play a twisted game with her new guests, and she's not looking for a fair fight.
The battle ignites, and our warrior pulls a total galaxy brain move by tossing his high-level sword to Sora.
He's literally going into a boss fight unarmed and telling her to do all the work.
Dark is losing his mind because honestly, who gives away their only weapon to a newbie in the middle of a boss room?
Things go south fast when the big guy lands a punch on Sora and triggers the curse of Medusa. Just like that, our main damage dealer is turned into a literal garden ornament. Our warrior is forced to play a high-stakes game of tag just to stay alive while cursing his bad luck.
The warrior finally finds a weapon, but it's a cracked, trash-tier longsword that's basically a glorified butter knife.
Dark is screaming at him for being a coward, but the witch is already bored of the running and orders her pet to stop chasing the redhead and just squash the little employer instead. Just as Dark is about to meet his maker, the warrior jumps in and takes the brutal hit with his own body.
Dark thinks it's a heroic sacrifice and starts getting emotional, but the warrior just groans that he only saved him because he can't let his paycheck die.
Talk about being a dedicated freelancer. But wait, the plan was actually working.
Sarah shatters her stone shell and proves she's built different. She's free from the curse and cuts through that muscle-bound monster like a hot knife through butter. The witch is absolutely malding because her petrification magic failed so miserably.
One swift strike, and the big guy is history.
Sarah doesn't stop there and gives the witch a satisfying whack for being so annoying.
The hardcore leveling warrior might be face down on the floor, but the quest is officially marked as completed.
Our warrior demands healing potions immediately because being a meat shield is exhausting work. After chugging enough green juice to fill a pool, he ties up the witch. It turns out he's a total cheater who interrogated the previous floor's boss with holy water to learn all the witch's weaknesses beforehand. Work smarter, not harder, right? To get the final answers, the warrior resorts to the most brutal torture method known to man, tickling. The witch folds instantly and spills the tea about a terrifying archfiend waiting for them on the upper level. Looks like the real nightmare is just getting started for our greedy squad.
We start today with a literal bang at Cobalt Castle where Heart Heater is trying to talk business, but the local lord, Sad Smile, decides that an explosion is a better greeting. This psycho really thinks blowing up his guests is a playful joke, but luckily, the black marketeer Kusium is there to stop the madness because dead customers don't pay bills. Look at that creepy grin. Sad smile is the definition of a red flag character who apologizes only because he was caught. Heart Heater is not here for the Lord's weird sense of humor, he is here for the loot, and he demands to see the high-tier items immediately before things get even bloodier.
The merchandise is finally revealed. The 38th sword, a legendary blade so cursed it basically leaks dark energy like a toxic X. Most people would die just looking at it, but Heart Heater grabs the hilt like it is a toothpick, flexing his insane power level and proving that his wallet is not the only heavy thing he is carrying.
Back with our main squad, the hardcore leveling warrior and his party are looting the witch remains, finding some trash-tier pants that smell like failure.
However, they hit the jackpot with Medusa's gauntlet, an item that turns enemies into stone statues, though Sara is more impressed by her own iron panties that have better stats than most armor sets in the game.
As they climb toward the final test, the warrior is busy being a drill sergeant, making Dark swing his sword exactly 99 times, because RPG mechanics are a headache.
He warns the newbie that archfiends are ranked by their horn size, and the ones hitting the devil phase are the kind of nightmares that even the top-ranked players used to run away from.
They finally reach the third test chamber, but the boss they expected to fight is already a literal pancake on the floor. Standing over the corpse is a massive archfiend who killed the original summoner just because the guy was annoying and talked too much, which is honestly a mood, but now the party has to face a real monster.
This demon is on an ego quest and views our heroes as nothing more than final offerings for his ritual.
Instead of a heroic speech, our scumbag protagonist immediately shoves Sara to the front to be his human shield while Dark starts chugging buffing potions like his life depends on it, which it absolutely does.
The demon watches them prep with the most bored expression I have ever seen, even mocking their use of holy water because it tastes disgusting. The party is fully buffed and ready to go, but you can tell by the demon's casual stance that they are about to experience a world of pain.
Sara lunges in with a massive overhead strike, but the archfiend catches her giant blade with a single hand like it is a fly. He literally rates her performance, giving her a 50 out of 100 and calling her stupid for such a predictable move, proving that he is not just strong, he is a total savage in the chat.
Sora tries to switch to hand-to-hand combat, but the demon gives her a straight-up 0 for that decision before kicking her away like yesterday's trash.
It looks like a total wipeout until the warrior jumps in with Medusa's gauntlet, finally triggering the secret weapon while the demon is distracted by his own ego. With Dark's buffs, the petrification chance is a guaranteed 100%, and we watch the archfiend turn into a literal rock garden. The warrior seizes the moment and lands a massive critical hit that should have shattered the boss into a million pieces, and for a split second, it actually looks like they won. Plot twist. The demon just flexes his muscles and shatters the stone casing like it was a cheap spa treatment, completely unharmed and looking even more annoyed than before.
He tells them to just die, as the warrior realizes their ultimate combo did 0 damage, leaving the entire party paralyzed with the realization that they are completely cooked.
Imagine being a literal archfiend, the terror of the world, and you end up on your knees begging for a quick death because a girl with a floating sword collection just absolutely wiped the floor with you.
Lazy is having the worst day of his life, and honestly, the disrespect is just getting started.
This warrior chick doesn't even want his head because she's not here for the glory, she's here for the loot.
She literally rips the horns right out of his skull while he's still screaming. Talk about a brutal manicure.
Lazy is trembling like a leaf, crying about the disgrace of his tribe, but she's just like, cool story bro, give me that other horn too.
Local demon discovery. Turns out winning every fight doesn't mean anything if your final loss ends with you being turned into a hornless loser destined for a seal.
The legendary idiot who always wins has finally run out of luck, and the taunting he gets on the way out is just the cherry on top of this humiliation sundae.
But how did we even get to this chaotic mess?
Let's back up to the actual ego quest where things were looking spicy.
Our boy Dark is the last line of defense, and he's shaking like he's seen a ghost while this blue-skinned beast prepares to turn him into a pancake.
Dark tries to pull a pro-gamer move with his random sword skill, praying to the RNG gods for a legendary blade that can actually cut through butter.
Instead, he pulls out the Boing Boing sword. It's a literal jelly souvenir that does 1 damage. 1. Even a wet noodle would be more threatening than this wobbly toy.
This is where it gets weird, even for Manhwa standards.
The big bad demon attacks, but when he hits the jelly sword, he totally freezes. Turns out this hellish monster is a massive simp for cute things. He's actually blushing because he can't bring himself to destroy a squishy jelly toy. Dark is basically weaponizing uwu energy right now.
Realizing he can't win with a toy, Dark pulls out the ultimate weapon, his grandfather's bank account.
He activates the Goblin King's pendant, which is basically a pay-to-win button. The more gold you dump into it, the stronger you get. It's time to show this monster the true power of a billionaire's grandson. The kid literally spends an astronomical amount of cash just to block one hit.
Even the demon is impressed by the sheer audacity of this financial flex.
Dark is glowing like a gold bar, and for the first time in his life, he actually feels like a main character instead of a walking wallet. The power of money is a hell of a drug. Dark is moving so fast he's basically a blur of yellow light, marveling at what it feels like to actually be strong. He's not just surviving anymore. He's actually standing toe-to-toe with a boss that should have deleted him 10 minutes ago. Dark lands his first ever punch right on the demon's jaw, and it's a heavy one. The monster is actually blown back, though he's quick to roast Dark for having the sloppiest form he's ever seen. He admits the kid put up a decent fight, which is basically high praise coming from a guy who eats warriors for breakfast. But wait, the P2W subscription is about to expire.
The system starts a 10-second countdown, and Dark is panicking because his buff is disappearing faster than my paycheck.
He tries one last random sword draw and gets a legendary divine sword, but he's too slow and the demon is already closing in for the kill. Just when it looks like Dark is about to become a very expensive stain on the floor, the real GOAT steps in. The hardcore leveling warrior is back, crackling with energy and looking ready to end this man's whole career. He thanks Dark for buying him time and tells him to watch how a real pro busts a demon's head open.
Imagine being a boss character and thinking your third-degree dark magic is actually going to land.
This guy is sweating buckets, blasting his energy at the ceiling like a confused pigeon because he cannot find the hero.
Talk about a major skill issue.
While the villain is busy having a midlife crisis, our hero pulls the ultimate nothing personnel, kid move.
He pops up behind the sucker with a chilling whisper and reveals he is wielding Kubaba's divine sword. This is an Advent-type weapon that literally lets him borrow an angel's stats to humble this devil. One hit is all it takes for this legendary blade to turn the boss into a memory. It deals massive holy damage that basically treats devils like wet paper.
The gamble to use a random weapon skill actually paid off for once, and the hero looks like an absolute unit standing over the wreckage.
But of course, there is a catch because this game loves to troll.
The hardcore leveling warrior explains that the sword is so cracked it seals itself into the ground for a 99-year cooldown after one win. Great. So they won the battle but lost the legendary loot for the next century. Typical.
At least the system is finally showing some love to Dark. The wealthy novice officially clears the quest and levels up, finally securing his class change to Dark Magician.
He even gets a summoner's ring that houses a servant spirit so strong it actually makes the hardcore leveling warrior look twice.
Just when they think they can breathe, a literal cyborg assassin shows up outside the dungeon looking for smoke.
Instead of doing the normal thing and walking inside, this metal menace decides to just fire an annihilation beam to flatten the entire structure. Talk about being extra for no reason. The assassin is laughing his mechanical head off, thinking he just scored a triple kill, but the smoke clears to reveal a very green surprise.
A level 100 supporter named Lime has entered the chat, and she is not amused.
She blocks the attack with her gelatinous body and tells the killer to step back.
Lime is apparently the personal guard for King Yopi, and she declares our party is under royal protection. The cyborg tries to play tough, claiming politics are not his business, but his cannons backfire instantly because Lime literally stuffed herself into his weapon barrels.
That is one way to jam a gun.
The assassin is officially tilted, calling Lime a weakling while trying to crush her with physical force.
He clearly did not learn his lesson. He dives right into the slime, thinking he can overpower a liquid enemy, which is probably the biggest red flag in his entire career.
This is where it gets truly nightmarish. Lime seeps into every mechanical gap and internal circuit of the cyborg, expanding from the inside until his metal shell starts to pop. He collapses into a pile of expensive scrap metal while Lime just smiles and says the king is waiting. Absolute queen behavior.
Meanwhile, at the Giga Empire's fancy water castle, the vibes are immaculate until the bad news hits.
Manager Jang Kim is literally shaking on the floor, begging for mercy because their grade A assassin just got turned into a recycling project by Yopi Land.
The vice president is not having it, and lets his secretary deliver a high-velocity kick to the failure. Since a sovereign nation is now protecting their targets, the stakes just went through the roof. The vice president orders the diplomatic team to move out, because things are about to get political and messy.
Imagine being so rich and entitled that you think slapping a literal child is a valid diplomatic move.
We start in Yopi Land where the Giga Empire's delegation just arrived, and Manager Park is already acting like a top-tier trash bag.
He is roasting the local NPCs like they are garbage, and when a cute little flower girl tries to sell him a bloom, he literally blasts her away with magic.
He calls her touch disgusting and tells the locals to know their place, acting like a total villain who is begging for a reality check.
Well, the reality check arrives in the form of Commander Tak, and he is not playing games. This absolute unit sees the abuse and goes full savage mode, grabbing Manager Park by his smug face before he can even blink.
Tak is glowing with pure rage, threatening to end this diplomatic simp right then and there.
He does not care about international incidents or political fallout. If you touch a citizen of Yopi Land, you are basically signing your own death warrant. The Giga Goons are freaking out because their manager is currently being used as a stress ball. Tak is literally dragging him around while the other diplomats scream about attacking a diplomatic corps.
Tak just laughs it off, telling them he is only dealing with trash.
He is ready to turn the place into a graveyard until a voice cuts through the chaos, telling Tak that he has done enough. Enter King Yopi, the man who looks chill but carries the energy of a final boss.
He steps in with a cold smile to stop the bloodbath, but he is definitely not on Giga's side. When the delegation demands Tak be punished for his aggression, the king just backs his commander up. He tells them that Tak was actually being nice by only giving Park a scratch, implying that if the king had to step in personally, there would be nothing left of them to bury. We take a break from the political drama to head over to Heart Heater's pawn shop, where the vibes are actually wholesome for once.
The squad is throwing a celebration for Dark because he finally achieved his class advancement.
They have got a massive cake and everything, but Heart Heater quickly ruins the mood by reminding Dark he has work to do.
He tells the wealthy novice to summon his new servant spirit, warning him that whatever pops out will be a reflection of his current magic power.
Dark is expecting some legendary, world-ending monster, but the universe has other plans.
After the ritual, the terrifying archfiend Lazy appears. Except he is now a tiny, adorable toddler version of himself. Lazy explains that since Dark is still a weak little sprout, his servant has been nerfed into this chibi form.
Dark is absolutely devastated that his intimidation factor is now 0, but Sara thinks this tiny devil is the cutest thing she has ever seen.
Back at the palace, the negotiations are going south faster than a falling rock. Manager Park is still crying about being attacked, but King Yopi has officially run out of patience for his nonsense. The king leans in with a look that would make a demon sweat and gives a terrifying ultimatum. He tells Park that if he calls his citizens damn NPCs one more time, he is going to personally blow his mouth off. Needless to say, the room gets real quiet, real fast. Vice President Light finally decides to act like a grown-up and takes over the talk. He drops some heavy lore, explaining that the nightmare threat has gone idle, which sounds good but is actually a disaster for Yopi Land. While the Giga Empire has fully recovered and is flexing its muscles, Yopi Land is still weak and broken from the last war.
Light looks King Yopi in the eye and brutally points out that right now is the perfect time for an invasion.
The tension is thick enough to cut with a sword as Light reveals Giga's real goal. They are willing to keep the peace, but only if the king hands over Dark. This is not about land or resources anymore. It is a family business matter. The Giga Corporation wants their runaway heir back, and they are willing to burn the whole kingdom down to get him. The king is stuck between a rock and a very expensive hard place. Dark finally confronts the delegation and we get the big reveal. Vice President Light is actually Dark's cousin, Lucas. He drops Dark's real name, Carter Hahn, and starts roasting him like a professional.
Lucas reminds Carter that their grandfather has banned him from the game and calls him the son of a loser. He is basically telling his own family member to go rot in a corner because he is not even worth the effort of a fight.
Lucas is so arrogant that he contemplates killing Carter right there, but decides he is too beneath him to even bother. As the Giga executives walk away with their noses in the air, the hardcore leveling warrior is watching from the sidelines. He is not just being lazy, He is actually analyzing the situation and realizes that Lucas is packing some insane power.
The pressure that guy was putting off was way beyond a normal high ranker, meaning the climb back to the top just got a lot steeper.
Dark is looking pretty depressed after being verbally destroyed by his cousin, but our favorite egomaniac hero isn't going to let that slide. The hardcore leveling warrior throws an arm around the kid and tells him to stop worrying, because he is on the team.
Sora points out that he is only level 15 and basically a noob right now, but the warrior just gives a classic, cocky grin.
He promises that very soon, everyone is going to understand exactly why he is the greatest to ever do it. Imagine being the world's top player only to wake up in a literal hole in the ground. While the city wakes up to sunshine and alarms, our fallen legend is rotting away in the dark underbelly of Miso Tower, specifically the 13th basement floor. Talk about a basement dweller's final boss form. Hardcore leveling warrior is living the dream. If your dream is a prison cell with a blaring mechanical wake-up call, he is calling this place a gutter, and honestly, he is being way too nice. This man went from gaming god to a literal lab rat in a labor camp. Look at this 5-star menu. A machine spits out vegetable tuna and something called woof woof crackers. My man is literally eating dog snacks while mourning his lost glory. He is throwing a tantrum because the menu never changes. But hey, at least it is vegetable tuna today. Peak luxury.
While the warrior is busy burping up tuna, Sora is fighting for her life on a packed bus.
Everyone is glued to their phones, gossiping like they are at a scandal-themed brunch.
The whole world is celebrating because the number 1 ranker finally got humbled and lost his spot.
They have no idea he is sitting in a cell just miles away.
Welcome to Lucid Adventure, the virtual reality game where you can live your best life while you sleep. It is basically a second world where people are so obsessed that in-game achievements determine if you are a nobody or a celebrity. Sora finally makes it to her part-time job, but her mind is clearly elsewhere.
In this world, top rankers are treated like A-list idols. Their faces are on commercials for ranker milk, while Sora is stuck dealing with rude customers who toss money at her like she is an NPC.
She is exhausted and done with the douchebags of the day, dreaming of her next login.
Sora looks at the tired faces at the bus stop and wonders what these people actually look like in the game.
Meanwhile, we shift to the young master known as Dark. Even though he is filthy rich, he is sitting in a luxury car struggling with a convenience store kimbap like it is a high-level puzzle.
Dark is out here hiding his peasant snacks from his father while his attendant helps him open the packaging. He asks about his grandfather, but the news is grim. In the real world, the chairman is unconscious, and in the game, he has completely vanished despite all of Giga's resources.
The trauma is real for our rich boy. Dark admits he is still seeing shadowy hallucinations, calling it a curse from his uncle designed to make him suffer for life. Just as the vibe gets depressing, his phone pings with a message from Heart Heater. It is time to get back to business. Dark logs into the game and meets up with the squad in Heart Heater's office.
The hardcore leveling warrior is already there, acting like he owns the place and calling Dark boss. The gang is back together, and Heart Heater is ready to play Santa with the items they requested.
But the reunion is not all fun and games.
Heart Heater pulls out a grade S secret quest that looks like trouble wrapped in an envelope.
The atmosphere gets heavy when they see the symbol on the log. This mission has the president's signature on it, and you know that means things are about to get absolutely chaotic.
While Heart Heater is living his best life sipping Earl Grey tea like a refined gentleman, our main squad is literally fighting for their lives.
He is out here acting like a proud dad, convinced that sending the former number 1 ranker on a secret quest to the Reef Dungeon is a guaranteed win, but he clearly has no idea how chaotic things are getting.
Inside the dungeon, it is a total nightmare because a red player just crashed the party.
This guy is a straight-up psycho who talks about cutting people into pieces like it is a hobby.
He marks Dark as his first victim, and you can tell by that creepy grin that he is not here for a friendly duel.
The killer lunges with a lethal strike, but Dark is not going down that easy. He pulls out a bamboo spear and uses his summons to barely block the hit.
It is high-stakes survival at this point, and one wrong move means getting chopped into literal confetti by this red-named maniac.
The enemy is slippery as an eel, dodging a counterattack from Lazy by doing something totally impossible. He literally shrinks his weapon mid-swing to avoid the hit, and then mocks them for being weak.
He is out here playing 4D chess while our heroes are just trying to stay in one piece.
Our hardcore leveling warrior is just chilling on the sidelines, acting like a combat critic. He realizes the killer's trick is actually a personal attribute that allows him to change his weapon size at will. It is a crazy broken ability, and the warrior is just watching the show like it is a boring tutorial.
Flashback to 5 hours ago when the squad actually thought they were doing well after clearing the 5th floor.
They hit level 30 and were feeling themselves, but the warrior had to kill the vibe by reminding them they need to clear 20 floors and catch that red player.
He insists on checking their new skills before they get clapped by the dungeon boss.
Reaching level 30 finally unlocks the warrior's signature move, the lucky coin. It is basically a gambling addiction turned into a superpower. He explains that a coin toss decides everything. Heads means he gets a massive power buff, but tails means he gets absolutely nothing. Talk about living life on the edge. Dark is totally lost, so the warrior gives a lecture on personal attributes. These are basically cheat codes given at character creation that let you break the game's rules. We are talking about magicians using bows or healers who can throw hands like professional MMA fighters. It is the ultimate way to build a top-tier character.
The warrior realizes that Sora and Dark are such massive noobs that they do not even know what their own hidden attributes are.
He roasts them for being clueless, but admits they need a rare item to even see their true potential. For now, they are just wandering through the dungeon in the dark like total amateurs. They finally reach the 6th floor and come face-to-face with the floor guardian, a level 40 deer man. This thing looks like a steroid-boosted forest spirit ready to wreck their day. But instead of panicking, the warrior just steps forward with a smug grin, ready to test his luck. It is time for the big gamble. The warrior flips his lucky coin into the air, and of course, it lands on heads because the plot says so. His body starts surging with insane power, and he looks like he is about to end this monster's entire career with just one finger. With a casual flick of his thumb, the warrior unleashes a shockwave so powerful it literally deletes the deer man from existence.
He is out here one-shotting bosses with reset stats just to flex on his teammates.
He even has the audacity to turn around and ask if they saw how awesome he was.
But arrogance is a slow-working poison, and our hero immediately falls for the oldest trick in the book.
He steps on a hidden trigger and gets snatched up by a trap.
When Dark tries to play the hero and save him, the poor kid gets caught too, leaving the whole party dangling in a net like a bunch of captured fish.
A new challenger appears from the shadows, and it is a greasy little thief named Canes. He is gloating over his catch and looking at them like they are a walking ATM. He demands they hand over all their equipment, especially the dagger, proving that even the strongest players can get humbled by a simple net and a greedy thief.
Imagine being the legendary former rank 1 player and ending up as a literal fly in a web.
Our guy is out here frantically chewing on magic ropes like a desperate hamster while complaining that the material is way too tough for his teeth.
This is peak embarrassment, but wait until you see the clown who caught them.
Meet Thief Canes, the local elf-eared narcissist who thinks he is doing God's work.
He claims our party are the infamous red players from a secret quest just so he has a convenient excuse to rob them blind.
He is even grinning like he just hit the jackpot, totally oblivious to who he is actually messing with. Canes drops the Justice Act faster than a bad habit and demands the paralyzing dagger he saw the warrior use back at Yopiland.
Sora tries to play the "we're just poor noobs" card, begging him to let them go, but this thief has zero chill.
He knows exactly what kind of top-tier loot is hiding in those pockets.
The thief activates his search skill, and we get a front-row seat to the warrior's inventory.
Canes is literally scoffing at the junk, calling out the deer antlers and old helmets like he is judging a garage sale.
But then his eyes light up because he finally spots the prize, that sweet, sweet paralyzing dagger.
Canes tries to use his steal skill to finish the job, mocking the warrior for being such an easy target.
But just as he thinks he's won, the warrior starts shouting a bizarre string of syllables like he's lost his mind.
Suddenly, the trap clicks open and the party drops to the floor. Talk about a plot twist.
The thief is absolutely losing it, wondering how a noob knows the secret deactivation code for a high-level trap. Our warrior just smirks, reminding this clown that as the former number 1, he has every cheap trap code in the game memorized.
He even roasts Canes for using a basic search and steal combo like a total amateur. Instead of running away like a normal person, the warrior decides to double down on the disrespect. He challenges the thief's party to a formal 3-on-3 combat. If Canes wins, he gets the dagger, but if he loses, he's going to wish he never logged in today.
Sora is back there stressed out, but the warrior is already smelling blood.
Canes accepts the challenge because greed is a hell of a drug. He is internally laughing, planning to use the formal duel rules to strip the warrior of his actual stats, not just his items.
He thinks he's the one setting a trap, but he's really just walking into a meat grinder with a smile on his face.
Enter the enemy squad, and boy, it is a circus.
We've got a massive, muscular healer who decided to wear an alpaca mask for some reason, and then there's Oz. Oz is a timid little magician who looks like she would apologize to a blade of grass for stepping on it.
Keynes is already acting like a toxic Discord mod leader.
The thief's search skill is still active, but he's too busy being a massive red flag.
He starts screaming profanities at poor Oz, calling her a mess.
Friend-zoned and threatening to beat her if she doesn't move faster.
This guy is the definition of a psycho duke without the charm, just pure, unadulterated toxicity. The battle kicks off, and it's pure chaos. Oz is so terrified of her own leaders screaming that she accidentally casts Decay, nearly melting the floor and her own teammates.
While the alpaca man is out here throwing hands, our warrior realizes he's in deep trouble because the fall from the trap actually broke his bones.
It gets worse. The warrior is hit with a debuff from the Decay spell that leaves him completely paralyzed on the ground. Keynes is still in the back screaming like a lunatic, demanding that Oz switch to fire magic to burn everyone alive.
Our hero is literally a sitting duck while the ground is melting beneath him. Oz starts charging up a massive spell, apologizing to her enemies while she prepares to nuke them.
She unleashes the Fire Magic Boom Boom Ball, a name that sounds cute but looks like a literal sun falling on your head.
With his health in the red and his body unable to move, the warrior stares at the flames wondering if this is finally game over.